welcome back to the Nerd Bros Podcast, episode 21.
I have something really quick to say, chat. Evan's slacking. Okay? Look at him. He's slacking. You know what time it is? What happened, Michigan? What happened? All that smack talk you've been doing for 4 years, where I'm sick of it. It's over. Win
They
with
finally won
humility.
again. The
With
last time they
humility.
won, we were 18 and 19 years old. It's been a long time since we've got the dub.
So you know how they won in 19, right? I'm so glad to be able to say that I was there for Urban's final win against Michigan. That was cool. That was an 18, but had to get that off my chest, chat. All right.
I think I got that same exact shirt, to be honest.
Are you? Well, I mean, it's a pretty plain. It just says Ohio State. Pretty plain shirt.
Oh, I got to root my other Ohio team that's actually on tonight.
It's fair. Lakers played last night. Because you know I root for a bunch of LA teams. Chat, we got a cool one tonight for y'all. Really quick. This is going to be the first time ever that we do an entire podcast on one topic, and that is Stranger Things 5. It dropped. We watched it Wednesday night. We watched all of it here. Banger, dude. First initial reaction banger.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they picked up right where they left off with season 4.
Very much.
Not timeline-wise, but
no.
As far as being good, yes.
Did you have something to say right there before I said that? My bad.
Oh, no, I was going to just tell everybody. Yeah, Trey is a fan of the Los Angeles Clippers and the Los Angeles Angels and the Los Angeles Chargers.
That is the most... That one makes me want to punch something.
But his favorite team of all time is the Los Angeles Sparks.
That's true. Don't forget the Kings, though. You know what I mean? Don't forget the Kings. Actually, wait, the Kings are in the same category as the other three. And wait, hold on. I'm not a Dodgers fan. Wait.
Angels.
Well, okay. I get what your joke is, but they may not, you know. They may not. Oh, you brother.
All right, we're going to go ahead and pray, and then we'll get into this. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this new week that we have to just get on here and talk and just talk about things we enjoy with people who are like-minded as well. I pray, Lord, that you bless this podcast tonight. I pray that you'll be with those who are out there. I pray that you'll just continue to guide each and every one of us who are struggling right now, Lord, who just need guidance in our life, which is all of us. I pray that you'll help us to just reflect who you are tonight, Lord. I pray that you'll be with everybody as the holidays are coming up. I pray that you help us all to just continue to grow closer to you, grow closer together, and I just pray that you'll help us all to just remember the true reason of why we celebrate this season, and that's your birth, Jesus. We love you and praise your name. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, chat. Like I said, completely different from any other one. Also, if I sound weird, I'm a little stuffy. So you got to deal with it, chat. All right? You got to deal with it. Opening up, chat, we have our review for The Crawl. If you want to start, go ahead and start. I'll throw in where I want to throw in. I've got a lot of points on this one. I also did not come up with my scores. Do we want to hold that for the complete end and rate every episode in the final Stranger Things episode?
Sure. I'll tell you what, before we get into our review for The Crawl, I actually pulled this up, speaking of scores. Stranger Things scores from Rotten Tomatoes by season.
Ooh.
If you had to guess, what do you think the highest rated season is?
Season? My brain wants to say 3 or 4. Because I don't think 5 can really count yet. I would probably say... I kind of want to say 3.
Season 3 is tied for the lowest.
What?
With season 4.
Are you serious?
And the top season is season 1.
Bro, you're
So
telling me season 2. You're telling me there's
this
people out there that said season 2 of Stranger Things was better than seasons 3 and 4?
this is the ratings. Season 1 is a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Season 1 was a banger. I'm fine with that.
Coming in at second place is season 2 at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Which honestly, I think the ratings make sense, and I'll explain that in a second. Season 5 is third at the moment at a 91%. And then seasons 3 and 4 are tied for last at 89%. This is the reason why I think it makes sense. Season 1 was phenomenal. Everybody loved it. So coming off that hype, you're really excited to watch season 2. And then season 2 underperforms, so that means that less people were excited about seasons 3 and 4.
But from 3 to 4 though, the hype was there. The hype in 2022 for season 4 was crazy.
Yeah. Also, we do have one announcement. I don't know if I should announce this because it means that people are going to be. Actually, no. We'll possibly bought ours by then, so it doesn't matter. Tickets for the theatrical release of Stranger Things season finale go on sale, and by the time you see this, it's today. So if you're watching this, go get them. But
hopefully we do go. Do you think they do a popcorn bucket?
I'd buy it.
I'm trying to think of okay. I almost said something that's bad. I'm not gonna say it. I had a thought for a popcorn bucket, but that's bad. I'm not gonna say it.
Mrs.
I'll tell you later, bro. It might have had something to do with that. I'm gonna hold it. I'm holding chat. Comment down below what you think I was thinking.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now let's get into this review for the crawl. So, these titles are awesome, by the way, too, because like when they first got revealed, had no idea what they were going to be about, but then you find out what a crawl is in this first episode. So, most of us already knew what the opening to this show was before it even came out because they revealed the first 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
that was Will and Vecna in the Upside Down, and Will's being chased by he's being chased by a Demogorgon. They de-aged him for this. They had a body double, but they also used a de-aged face of Noah Schnapp for this. And there's people who are very critical about what that looked like. They don't think it looked very good.
Even with the fact that that we had already seen the first 5 minutes, I still loved it in this rewatch. So
yeah,
I thought it was incredible.
Because it reveals to us that Vecna has been here since the beginning. He wasn't just somebody who came about and he's the villain of season 4 and 5. He's been here the whole time.
I have a feeling every single one of our points are the exact same.
Probably.
Yep. Vecna's been around since the beginning in the shadows, chat.
So I think it makes him an even scarier villain than what he was too, because he's been orchestrating all of this. But again, the Mind Flayer is supposed to be the primary villain of this whole thing. So that means we've kind of talked about it a little bit. I've seen other people talk about it, but they're comparing it to Star Wars, where like you have the Mind Flayer is Emperor Palpatine who's pulling all the strings behind the scenes, but then you have Vecna, who is like Darth Vader, similar to Darth Vader, but he's been here the whole time as well, and it's so cool.
Yeah, dude, Vecna's presence is it's menacing, bro. Especially like we're gonna get talking to later. He got crazier. I didn't think he would in that sense, but boy did he Vecna had a glow up, bro. Yeah. I'll say that.
Absolutely. So, after the opening, which we saw, which was insane, um, we kind of catch up with everybody else in what they've been doing. So the Byers are now living with the Wheelers. So there's a whole dynamic there. Obviously, Ted does not like it. He doesn't like anything. It's crazy. We have Steve and Robin now working at the Squawk, which is a radio show, but it's really used to give out code for their crawls.
I gotta say something. How can you hate life when you pulled Mrs. Wheeler? I'm just saying. How? Look, chat, or some simps for Mrs. Wheeler. I just want to throw that out there.
Also, Nancy got all of Karen's genes.
What do you mean? Because she's good looking?
Because Nancy's good looking too, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't none of that's from Ted.
I do want to say something. I personally loved that Steve and Robin are still working together. I think that's super sick. Like every step of the way since season 3, they've worked together. I think it really shows their dynamic and how great they are as a duo. I think it's pretty cool.
It really threw me off too, though, because I was not expecting them to be working at like a radio company, for this. It just
I wasn't expecting her to be a radio, like a talk show host. Like that was cool to me.
right,
Also the fact that I think she does it very well. So
yeah.
there's that. I mean, she nailed it. Her personality nails it. She's very outgoing. She talks a lot. They hit it on the nose with that.
So that's what they've been up to. We get to see Dustin showing up to school because Steve calls him and stuff for help for the radio. But Dustin's basically the new Eddie. He
Yeah.
he probably took very badly about Eddie's death, and he's dressing like him. He's got the Hellfire shirt. His hair is longer like Eddie's was. It's darker.
He's
And
angry.
he's angry. He's getting bullied a lot and like threatened to be beat up by the basketball players. And then we get to see like Lucas, Mike, and Will for the first time. Lucas is kind of like he's built up now. Mike and Will both got taller, and they're sticking up for Dustin. Um, because Dustin's about to get beat up in school. So I think it's kind of cool to see how Lucas is like 100% with his friends again, and he's not trying to worry about being popular anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Complete
I
180
did
for
like that.
Lucas. Yeah.
So it made me enjoy his character more this season as well.
Yeah.
He's
They
not being a jerk.
did also show what did Robin call it? A metal band-aid. And then they also showed that the gate on the side of the library, that looked sick, super sick.
Yeah, Hawkins is like now under quarantine. At one point in one of the episodes, Murray ends up saying that Hawkins is probably the most secure place outside of the White House, Fort Knox, and Area 51. That's how
Insane.
heavy of a military presence is there.
I kind of want to
And then
go.
after that, yep, go ahead.
I think I know where you're going. So I got something to say about this next one, Jet. Elle's training montage. Is that where you were going? Chat. First of all, the training montage was incredible. I loved it. That to me felt very much like Rey's training from The Rise of Skywalker. Beat for beat, dude. They had to have gotten their whatever it's called. They had to have gotten their inspiration for that from The Rise of Skywalker because it felt very much like that montage from Rey. Had to get my little Star Wars piece in there, chat.
I did see that her outfit that she's wearing in like that whole training montage and basically the whole 4 episodes so far. That outfit she's wearing was based off of what Josh Brolin, who played Thanos, by the way, Marvel content. It was based off of his outfit that he wore in the Goonies.
Really? Oh my gosh, he was in the Goonies. How did I never realize that?
Yeah, bro, Thanos is in the Goonies.
Wow. Interesting. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
So she's been training him though. She's preparing for these crawls, and Hop's really protective of her. Joyce is still very protective of Will. Um, so that's what they've been up to. They're just training, getting ready. They move about town through underground tunnels that come out everywhere. So that's kind of how they get around because they don't want 11 to be seen by the military because they are hunting her down. And the other character who we kind of got up to speed on what they've been doing is Murray. Murray is basically the guy, and he goes and gets supplies from out of town. He smuggles it into Hawkins. Basically, something, whatever they need, he gives them information as far as what the military is going to be doing for crawls. Well, for what their operation is, so they can do a crawl. So Murray's kind of like the guy who works on the inside and out.
Murray is the new Yuri. Yuri was a smuggler. Yeah. It's pretty
I
cool.
will say this too. One character who I really hope does not die is Murray.
I will say, I was a little, I don't want to say underwhelmed, but I was expecting more people to die. He was, chat. Let me tell you something. I'll get into it when we get closer to it, and I'll tell you what he was sitting on my couch talking.
So, what are these crawls basically? These crawls are where basically Hop goes into the Upside Down and they are searching for Vecna. They want to find him to take him down. And that's basically what they've been doing. And I believe that they said that there's been 37 crawls to up until this point. This would be their 38th in this episode. So they've been doing this for a long time. It's kind of like clockwork. That's why they're training.
Yeah, that's a lot, dude. And you gotta think they've done 38 of those in a matter of what, 18 months?
Yeah.
That's a chunk.
Yeah, dude. And like they've been undetected by the military. They have no idea they're doing it. Like that's pretty insane.
Until that one, of course.
Right. So after we catch up with everybody, we saw the opening, we caught up with everybody, and we kind of understand like what's happening now. We get introduced. She's not a new character, but this version of her is kind of becoming more of a main character, and that is Holly Wheeler.
I mean, that was pretty much off rip though. Like we saw her at the beginning of the show after the first 5 minutes. Look, I gotta say something. All right, you know what? I'll hold it for. I'll hold it. I'll say it
Okay.
later. I got it.
So, Holly, it is being set up to be a main character
Mhm.
of this, and we kind of find out more about her and what's going on with her as the episodes progress. But she has an imaginary friend, and his name is Mr. Whatsit, and he keeps telling her that there's monsters all around Hawkins, and he'll keep her safe, and he'll get her out, and all this other stuff. So we don't really know what that means. Obviously, we find out what it means, and it's pretty bad. But at the moment, she has an imaginary friend, but it's been very weird. The parents are concerned, the teachers are concerned, so it's causing a lot of just people to be on edge around her. They want to make sure that she's not going crazy or anything like that. So Holly was the first new character that we got. Anything about that?
I'm gonna hold what I was gonna say.
Okay. Then we get introduced to another new character. And this is where we get introduced to Dr. K. And she's working at a military base, but this base is in the Upside Down.
Dude,
And she wants to find L. That's her main goal. She wants to find 11.
our notes are beat for beat, bro. Crazy. Yeah, the military lab base revealed to be in the Upside Down was what I had. That's crazy.
I think it's insane though. Like
I think it's cool.
thinking back think back to season 1. We were terrified of the Upside Down, period. Now you have people literally putting bases inside of it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, 100%. Insane.
So
But you also have to
those
think of
are
it from their perspective, though. They think Elle's the bad one.
this is true. That's
So
why they're hunting her down.
they're not scared of anything down there because they think it's everything's her fault, which is crazy. But
Yeah. Which honestly, I wonder how much they've actually come in contact with like Demogorgons and like other upside down creatures then, because it's been a year and a half. So you're telling me that you haven't seen anything while you've been down there?
Maybe Vecna doesn't view them as a threat, or if there's a power bigger than Vecna.
True. So those are our two main new characters. Obviously, we have a couple soldiers who we get introduced to a little bit more as the episodes go on. But after this, basically, Dustin is pretty ticked off for getting his Hellfire shirt ripped up, um, and he decides to get revenge on the bullies. So he takes a snake from the school and he puts it in the guy's locker.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. And later on, it gets bad, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So after we see this whole thing, Mike goes to pick up Holly from school, and after he goes to pick her up, and she's sitting there waiting, and basically Karen is talking to her teacher about the imaginary friend, but Mike's kind of like, this is where he kind of has a big brother moment, and he's like, "Listen, monsters aren't real." She's like, "I don't believe you," and then he starts talking about like being afraid. He's like, "This is what I do when I'm afraid," and he starts talking to her, and he was like, I wasn't going to give you this for a couple more years, but he actually gives her her own Dungeons and Dragons character because his is Mike the Brave, and he gives her Holly the Heroic,
Yep.
which is she's like a cleric, but she can cast spells of safety and protection and all this other stuff too.
Super cool. And you actually start to see her somewhat like be heroic and not be afraid and stuff like that's pretty cool.
Something I find very interesting too is how good. Obviously, he didn't do it himself actually, but the character Mike can paint some minifigures, bro.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say obviously it wasn't him, but
I also got a fun fact.
hmm.
Holly's teacher, who's in the several episodes and stuff, of the show, that is the Duffer Brothers drama teacher from high school.
That's in my notes.
Are you serious?
Dude, I don't understand. Like I'm gonna send you this when we're done. Spitting word for word, bro. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life.
See, I did not have that written down. I just saw
Yeah.
that on Twitter.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
But crazy. So we move on from that scene, good brother sister moment. Holly gets introduced to D&D a little bit, and then Dustin gets beat up. He goes to Eddie's grave. Eddie's grave's been vandalized and is covered in blood, and that snake is there. And then the bullies come, and Dustin he fights back for a little bit, but then they outnumber him. He gets whooped, which
Yep.
leads to him missing the crawl.
Yep.
And then
It,
when we go and see like the crawl, we are introduced to four groups. We have the Dungeon Master, which is like the control group, everybody back at the station at Squawk. We have the Crow's Nest, which is the lookouts and stuff for the gate. We have the people who are in the van, which should be Dustin and Steve, but it's actually Jonathan and Steve who have a lot of beef right now over Nancy. And then we have the one man show himself. We have Hop.
I do have something to say. If you think about how insane it looks from the outside of two adults trusting all these kids with their life, like going into alternate dimension like that. If you were somebody in Hawkins and didn't know any of that stuff going on, and you heard that Hopper and Joyce were just believing these kids in all this dimension, you'd think they're insane. But obviously, they're the most sane ones there.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
I think it's crazy the amount of people who have no idea what's happening in Hawkins.
Well, it's because they keep being fed lies.
I know, but
Earthquake.
honestly, think about how much that actually attributes to real life.
Yeah. People walk
Think about
around
like
with blindfolds on, dude.
they have no idea what's happening in the world because they're being
No
fed
idea.
lies.
Yep. Insane, dude.
Uh,
That is a big connection. That's crazy.
so the crawl commences, which honestly, I really like episode one. I thought it was a great start to the season. I thought the crawls were really cool. So everything's like going according to plan. 11 really wants to go with Hopper because she claims to beat her time, which she actually did. But Hop wants to protect her, doesn't want her to go in there, so he goes in alone. So he gets in the military trucks. Everything's going good, but then all of a sudden things go wrong, as of course they would. Um, and a Demogorgon ends up showing up and attacking the military convoy as it's driving around in the Upside Down. So as this is happening, though, something insane occurs, and this is something that is going to be huge over the next several episodes as well, because Will starts to have a vision, and Will can see what's happening in the Upside Down from the perspective of the Demogorgon, but he's really seeing this through the mind of Vecna.
Because Vecna's controlling the Demogorgon. Yep.
Right. So that's huge over these next several episodes because Wilkins he's seeing what Vecna sees. He's still connected, like very much connected to the hive mind. So what does this lead to? Obviously, Hop ends up getting trapped in the Upside Down. They can't communicate with him, so that's pretty bad. They're trying to find the signal, but they've lost it. And then we see the Demogorgon is heading to the Wheeler house.
Yep.
And basically, Nancy and Elle they go to save the Wheelers because they know what's happening because Will saw it in his vision. And this episode ends with the Demogorgon coming through Holly's ceiling to take her.
Yep. Absolutely insane, dude. Absolutely insane. Banger of a first episode. I don't know. Do you think it was better than 2?
Do I think it was better than 2? It's tough. 2 was the shortest episode of the 4. Had
Yeah.
a lot of action, but I honestly think I enjoyed episode 1 slightly more than I enjoyed episode 2.
I would say I agree. Do you think that it was the best pilot episode of a season? Or best opening episode of a season?
No, because I still think season 1 is I don't think you could beat season 1's pilot.
Season 1's pilot was crazy.
Like that got
pilot
everybody
was,
hooked.
dude, so good. So
So
good.
very close though. I'd have to think about it, but I honestly think that I'd rank them at the moment, top of my head, probably season 1 as 1, and then this one probably be right after it.
I would say I agree. Yeah. Can't argue that. I kind of like the way we're doing this. This is kind of clean. Homie's
Okay.
just spitting it out and we're spitballing off.
Interrupt me whenever you want,
Hmm?
because I don't want to breeze
Oh, you're
past
chill.
something if we want to
Oh,
talk.
you're chill.
All right, so going on to episode 2. Like we just mentioned, this one's probably just a little bit under episode 1, but still very, very good. Loved this episode just as much. It starts off with the action.
Yep.
And this one is entitled The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. So we obviously know what's going to happen. So the Demogorgon has come to take Holly to the Upside Down. She doesn't know it's there to take her. She probably thinks it's there to kill her because Mr. What's it's been telling her, "Oh, the monsters are coming for you." So that happens. But what's crazy to think about is even with her mom not believing this monster talk, this imaginary friend stuff, she ends up believing Holly because Holly goes to get her. She escapes for a moment from the Demogorgon. Holly's bleeding, so Karen and her are hiding in a bathtub. Bro, that scene was nuts.
Insane, dude.
Can you imagine having to hold your breath that long?
Well, she didn't believe her at first, and then saw the blood and was like, all right, maybe I need to
They had
not
to
be
get in there
drunk.
quick. They had to get in
Crazy.
that tub quick.
Yeah, they did. Homie's just outside hitting golf balls, just chilling.
Yep, he sees the lights going off though, and then that's when he does come in, and it's probably the best moment in the entire series for Ted, because Ted actually tries to defend his family.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
He
Mrs. Wheeler, I just gotta say, she put up a good fight, bro.
more than Ted.
Yeah, yeah, and she was drunk.
Yeah, she at least got some few. She got a few clean hits on it. Ted, I think hit it maybe once, and he got thrown.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
both of them end up being in critical condition though, and they go to the hospital. See, in the moment when we first see this, we thought they died.
Oh yeah. When
We
Nancy and
thought they were
Elle
dead.
arrive, yeah.
Yeah, they show up. And they show the flashback of what actually happened because it cuts it up, and we have to go back to see what actually happened to Karen. Um, yeah, you think they die. Obviously, later in the episode, we find out they didn't. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But so Nancy and Elle get there. Um, and Nancy sends 11 after Holly. So Elle actually goes into the Upside Down and is now trapped in the Upside Down as she's going to go search for Holly. Lucas and Mike arrive to be with Nancy, and they all go to the hospital and just kind of see what's going to happen with their parents. But the Demogorgon did take Holly into the Upside Down. Elle followed, and that's when they go to the hospital. And then afterwards, um, basically, before we go on to the next point, this was pretty interesting as well because the episode starts talking about how it's been 3 days before the anniversary of when Will was taken. So we don't know why this time period is like the time when a lot of stuff ends up happening. We just know that Will was taken on this. I think that there'll probably be a little bit more of a explanation in the later episodes of why this time
I
is like
think
when
I
it's
think that
happening. But
timing matters to Vecna more than anything, and I
absolutely,
I I think we're gonna find that out.
they have said too. I'll pull up this piece of news right here because they've talked about where's it at? Yeah, the Duffer Brothers specifically has said that Volume 2 of Season 5 will fully explain all of the mysteries of the Upside Down. And they said that this is something that has been planned for 10 years now. And it is just now, obviously, the time to reveal it.
Ooh,
So we're going to find out what it is, why everything's the way it is, and probably how it came to be.
interesting. I did find out that there's some lore within that. Oh, what was it called? It was that play that they did.
Yes.
Apparently, I didn't know this, but Henry had went to Dimension X, and then when he came out of it, that's when he started showing his powers. I didn't know that, but that's a pretty cool little fact.
There's actually a little bit of stuff from that play that we'll talk about when we get to, I believe, episode 4.
Okay.
Um, so basically what we find out after Elle's gone into the Upside Down to find Holly and they've gone to the hospital, we have found out that Elle has been spotted by the military. They got a picture of her. They found her jacket, obviously, and they're hunting her down. Again, they think that she's the one causing all of this. So they're still looking for her. It's gotten worse. They know that she is still around. So that was probably not very good, especially because after that happens, Elle goes into the Upside Down and she finds Hop, who he's been injured. He got shot when the whole thing was happening with the Demogorgon.
Not only did he get
Um,
shot, he gets thrown by his own daughter. It's kind of messed up.
yeah, and then he's upset about her being in the Upside Down. He's upset that she was in a car. There's a whole there's a whole lot of stuff that happened, and basically Hop goes and he gets fixed by Elle. She knows how to fix wounds because of Max, which is pretty cool. So then we go back to the right side up, and we see Dustin. He shows up when Jonathan and Steve are broken down on the side of the road. He shows up and has to kind of explain where he's been. He says he fell off his bike. Steve does not believe it, but this is something that's been kind of sad too to see. there's the dynamic between Steve and Dustin right now where they are just not getting along.
Yep.
And it's kind of been like this for a while now. Like it was even like this in last season. So that's still happening.
Yep. I do want to say
Yeah.
Mike and Nancy's relationship in this is so good. This episode finally jeez. We finally really get to see their brother sister relationship, and it's actually on full display, and it's incredible. They're using their brains to trying to figure stuff out. They're working as a team, and I think it worked really, really good.
Yes. That's something I feel like it's been missing because
Mhm.
Nancy's always been just so much older,
Mhm.
and we haven't really got to see that. But it's been very, very cool to see so far. I agree. So we do like we are in the hospital and we get to see Max now for the first time for the season. Lucas is visiting her and everything, and Max she ends up showing signs of some brain function because obviously she's been in a coma since last season. We don't know what this means until later on, but you see on the monitor that she's kind of it seemed like she was trying to wake up, which is pretty cool.
And they played my song. Banger,
Yes,
dude.
they did. So like we were talking about with the chemistry between Mike and Nancy and their just relationship as brother and sister. This is where we get to see it in full swing because they go and they dress up as a patient and a nurse and they go in and sneak see Karen because they need to ask Karen some questions about Mister What's It, and it gets pretty cool. But before we get to see any more about that, that's when we pan to Will and Robin. And for the longest time, Will has been he's been babied by his mom. She's very overprotective of him. But he has this plan. He wants to go back to like this place where he saw a vision earlier in the day. He wants to try to help out. He thinks he might get to figure out how to just get in the mind of Vecna to know what he's up to. Robin calls it his antenna, and she wants him to go use that. So they're talking about the plan, and they can't do that plan with Joyce being around. So they end up having to sneak out and they make an excuse about the flux capacitor being out, which, if you don't know from Back to the Future, in that scene, Robin literally says Great Scott as well, like
Yep.
Doc does in the Back to the. So it was just really, really cool to see the references of that. But they do sneak out.
Plus, it finally
And then
starts this dynamic between Robin and Will, which I actually think was spot on. They hit that out of the park.
it's something that, I think's been needed for a while. Obviously, it couldn't happen because they were in California.
Yeah.
So, like, Will just wasn't around. But I'm happy that it is happening now, at least.
Yeah. Agreed.
Something that I do find crazy too is um, we're we're halfway through this final season, and there has not been a single moment in the entirety of this show where Will Byers has had a conversation with Steve Harrington.
What?
They
Is
have
that?
not interacted like in conversation once.
Are you serious?
I'm 100%.
Wow, that's crazy.
Not been a single moment where you see them talk to each other.
That's insane. I will say, did you find something weird about how she lived with the buyers for how long? A year? Close to a
Yep.
year? And then comes back and just sayonara.
Well, she goes and lives with Hop again.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, see,
Like,
why
bro,
weren't
that's your
they
dad.
living with Hop? I, I don't know, this is kind of
Because they wanted to get Will out of Hawkins.
what?
They wanted to get Will out of Hawkins. Are you talking about why they're not living with Hop now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant why they left in the
No,
first place.
no, I got that. I mean, like right now,
Yeah, I've thought about that as well.
like why,
To,
why are they
to be
stuck?
fair, they don't have as much room as Hop's cabin.
I mean, that's true. That
There's a
is
lot
true.
more room in the Wheeler house.
Yep.
But I thought about that as well because, like, they're dating. Uh, It's not like Mike's coming and staying at Hopper's house. That would be a no-no because I think Hopper killed him.
Well, yeah, but Jonathan's
Yeah,
living in
well,
the same roof as Nancy.
yeah, but they're adults.
They are. I kind of I've lost track of where everybody's at because they're
They
all
done
adults now.
graduated.
Even the sixth
Yeah,
grader.
yeah. Honestly, by the time we get to the finale, I think Derek will be an adult.
Probably. Probably. Yeah,
Could
crazy.
you imagine they split this into 2 parts and the next 4 episodes didn't come out until next year?
That'd be so stupid, dude.
uh, oh man, my iPad fell. So after Will and Robin sneak out, we go and we see Hop and Elle back in the Upside Down, and they encounter this massive wall. No idea what's behind it, other than the fact that Holly's boot was laying there, so they believe that Holly is behind this wall. We don't know anything about it. We don't know how to get through it, but that's the whole thing. Like they're trying to figure it out, and this is when though we go back to Will and we see through his eyes. Oh, no, sorry. Will is testing out his theory now, and we find out that he can see through the eyes of Vecna. This is like confirmed now, but he's also seeing through the eyes of Vecna's next victim. So he is seeing through the eyes of Holly. He is seeing through the eyes of other kids later in the show. So not only is he seeing what Vecna sees, but he's seeing what the victims see, just like him. So he's basically Vecna. Basically Vecna. So that was pretty cool. And just seeing the connection that they have, obviously, I think the connection between Will and Vecna is going to be even more elaborated on later in the show.
Mhm.
But the final piece of this show for this episode was Nancy and Mike are asking Karen questions. She's writing stuff down because she can't speak. She got her throat slashed by the Demogorgon, but she's writing stuff down. So they ask her, and this is the piece of information that gives it away. Um, they ask her if Holly has ever said what the name of Mr. What's It is, and she writes down Henry, which obviously we know is Vecna.
I wonder why, as smart as he is, and all the stuff why would he tell them his real name? Like, why? What's the point in that?
Okay, I'll talk about this a little bit later in depth, but I think Henry and Vecna, I think they're almost two different personalities. And I honestly don't know if Vecna's going to end up, I mean, sorry, if Henry is going to end up being a villain by the time it's all said and done. And he probably wants to actually earn trust and he wants to be friends with these people. It's what it kind of seems like. It seems like he's going to end up being an okay person. He's just corrupted by the Upside Down and by Vecna, kind of like how Anakin is corrupted by
Interesting.
Vader in the dark side.
Oh, I got a thought. So you know how, guys, we're getting into a little bit of the theory stuff early, but really quick. So you know how Will we've now seen his connection to the Upside Down and to Vecna, and like obviously now we see some of the stuff that he can do. We'll talk about later. Do you think Henry had that same connection when he was little to the Mind Flayer when he went to Dimension X?
Something is revealed in the play.
Oh, okay. All right, let's run it. Sorry, chat, got a little off topic.
No, you're cool. You're cool. I'm gonna hold off on that topic. So how are we feeling? We're halfway through the episode so far.
Banger.
What time we at?
45 minutes.
Okay, not hateful. Not hateful. Now these 2 episodes are the longer episodes of the season, so there's a little bit more information to unpack here. Episode 3 is called the Turnbow Trap, which this
Wait, I think you've
episode's
got something.
what?
They arrived at the Creel house. Did you say that?
I did not say that.
Yeah, Holly and Henry arrived at the Creel house, and then obviously Will told Robin about that in his vision he was Vecna. Those were the only two things I had that I don't think you said.
Yes, that is true. That scene is forever corrupted now because of the internet.
Which scene?
Where they arrive at the Creel house. The internet is a terrible place.
Yeah, it
Just gonna
was.
say
Yeah,
that.
it was messed
Just
up,
gonna
bro.
say that.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and run it up. Turnbow trap.
So the Turnbow trap starts off. We see the military showing up in the Upside Down, like with Hop and L. They're still by this wall, but now the military, a new convoy is showing up. They're probably trying to. They're probably in there to save their men. That's the whole reason they probably came back in there. They're like, okay, we got to get our guys out. So they bring in that giant like machine, makes this kind of noise, probably to ward off anything of the Upside Down to make sure that nobody gets killed. But that weapon, it not only works on the things of the Upside Down, it prevents L from using her powers, and it basically immobilizes her. And because whatever frequency is going off, it's forcing her to not be able to do anything, and she's in pain. You can definitely tell she's in pain. So that's how it opens. We see like 11 become like immobilized, which is like they're gonna die. Um, because you got a whole military convoy that's gonna be going against Hopper. Pretty cool. Um, Afterwards, though, we get to see a very pivotal moment in the relationship of Will and Joyce because we've talked about it already. She's babied him. Obviously, we know what happened to him from the beginning of this show. There's been a lot that's happened. She doesn't want to lose him. She doesn't want him to die. She's afraid. But Will stands up to his mom.
Pretty
And he's
much
like,
tells her
listen,
that her plan was trash.
trash boat.
Trash mode.
So, yeah, tells her, it's trash. Listen, but he comes from a place of he's like, I can help. I don't want to just be on the sideline. I have probably some of the most knowledge as far as any of this stuff goes. I have a connection with Vecna. Um, I lived in the Upside Down. Will knows a lot. He helped Dustin set up the machines and stuff for the frequency. He knows a lot and he can help. So it's kind of about Joyce letting him grow up and
Yep.
actually be a man, even though he's still a kid. But everybody in this thing is literally an adult. They were forced to grow up. Um, so after the whole scene with Will and Joyce, we come to find out that Mr. Whatsit wasn't only after Holly, he's also after Derek, this kid from the 6th grade.
Yep. I'm gonna be honest. I got something to say. I got something to say. Because you know this, because you watched it with me. Throughout that part, I was like, he can have Derek the bro. That kid's annoying. That kid's trash. He actually grew on me a little bit. I don't think he's so bad. I don't think he's so bad. I think he's a decent character.
I want people to remember this too, because I'm sure there's a lot of people I'm sure trashing the actor. He's a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Like there's somebody who commented and was like, I literally go to school with this guy. He's like an awesome kid. He's a
That's
great
cool.
human. Like it was like one of his classmates. But um yeah. And I want you to remember too,
They're just actors.
some of the characters that we hate the most is because it's an amazing performance. Number one, Professor Umbridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't stand Umbridge, but
Dude.
she's a great actress.
Yeah.
And the guy playing Derek does a very good job at making himself unlikable to the audience.
That's true. That's true. He did. Hey, I will never say he didn't do it good. I just was annoyed with the character.
Oh,
But
I get it,
now
dude.
he's grown on me. He's grown on me.
He's grown on me as well, especially after the second rewatch.
Yeah.
So we kind of pan to this is where we go back to the Creel house. Holly's having breakfast. Vecna basically made her like her favorite breakfast. She starts talking about like, oh, Derek will be here tomorrow and stuff. And all of a sudden, Vecna or Henry ends up having to leave. He doesn't say where he's going, but he he goes out to the mailbox with Holly, and he has her open the mailbox because he got her a gift. It's a a music cassette with a cassette player, and he warns her. He says, under no circumstances do not go in the woods. He's like, you can go anywhere around the house, anywhere else, just do not go into the woods, because he tells her that's where the monsters are, and that's like his warning to her. So she's afraid of the woods. Um, Something that I find very interesting though, and this is kind of where I almost feel like Henry is going to be good. If Max was able to keep Vecna out of her mind with music, why on earth is he giving Holly music?
Yeah, that's a good thought. I didn't really put any thought to that, but however, what is her favorite music? If it was her favorite music, then that makes total sense what you're saying. But if it's not her favorite music, it's kind of weird. Maybe
Right.
he is full villain and figured out they need their favorite music to stop me. But if she doesn't have her favorite music, I'll just give her whatever. That could be the thing there. But yeah, first time of the episode, bro. Right when I said it, it clicked.
We might not be talking about Marvel, but I'm still locked in.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But yeah, so that was just kind of odd.
Yeah.
The whole music set. But this is where we actually go back to the Upside Down, and we see Hop taking on the entire military because they get made. Elle is in so much pain that she basically screams. So
Yeah.
he has to basically fight them all, and he takes out basically almost all of them. And he takes out their weapon that's immobilizing Elle. So she gets up and she takes out Lieutenant Akers, who's going to be an important character over the next few episodes because he's got the information that they need to figure out what's behind that wall, and a lot of different questions that they have about the Upside Down. And basically, they begin to interrogate him. But before we get to see the actual interrogation take place, we go back to the right side up, and we see that there is a plan made by everybody who is still in the real world. There's a plan made. It's called the Turnbow Trap, which is the name of the episode. And their plan is basically to knock out the Turnbow family and basically take them from their house to this farm to keep them safe. Then they're going to set a trap for the Demogorgon when it arrives to come take Derek. They're going to light this thing on fire, and they're going to shoot a tracker into it so they can track it into the Upside Down, hopefully to find Holly. So, I will say, that's something that I've loved about this season so far. Every plan that they've made has been awesome.
Except for
It's
Joyce's.
solid. Yes, Joyce's sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked. But
Yeah.
A for effort.
There's a lot of thought going into their plans too, and I think it's a very cool dynamic to see their teamwork really.
Yeah, like, and you get to see how much they've like evolved since season 1 as characters, because it's like, man, like they had no idea what any of this stuff was in season 1. They find out that fire hurts. Okay, we'll get fire. Like, but like they're sick, and you get to see actually like the kids who are now adults actually like do more with, like, it's not just them shooting a rock at it. They're beating it with a shovel, and they're doing all this other, like, it's insane.
Yeah. Super cool.
And something else I like about this show as well is I like how we have like 3 different plot lines happening at once. We have like the right side up, we have the Upside Down, and then we have what's happening in Henry's mind.
Yep.
Sick.
Yeah, oh, it's super cool.
So after that, we go back to Holly, and this is where she gets a note in the mail. And she like, there's a knock on the door. She's like freaking out because she's like, she's thinking it's Henry. Then she's like thinking it's Derek. But she gets a note in the mail, and she thinks it's from Henry, and basically it's alluding to the fact that he's in danger. So he's asking her to come through the woods to these rocks that are marked by the letter X. So she's kind of having to figure out if she's going to be brave enough to go and do that, which ends up being pretty cool when we find out at the very end of the episode. But then we go back to Elle and Hop. So they learn from interrogating Lieutenant Akers. Elle was inside of his mind as Hop's interrogating him. They learned that there is a military base / lab that is in the Upside Down, and that is where Dr. K is from, which we talked about in episode 1. Like, we find that there's that base, and this is where they're going, and it's in the middle of that wall, which, dude, I still can't get over the fact that there's a base in the Upside Down.
Oh, it's so cool. I think you did forget one thing, unless you have it after, because I had it before those next two. Mike and Lucas had to go to Erica to get help with the turnbow trap, and I just gotta say, chat, that was one of the goofiest looking girls in the 6th grade I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry, bro. 19 years old, just chilling in the front of a 6th grade class, looking goofy. I had to add that.
No, you're cool. That was what was after.
Oh,
so
it was after?
We are still on par. Yep,
yeah.
We're on par. But yeah, I feel like you can't have this season without Erica. So like, kind of being in the 3rd episode when we hadn't had her yet, it's like, man, I wonder like what her part's actually going to be in this. So it was cool to see her.
Her character actually ended up pretty cool. I was annoyed with her for a big part of season 3.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, she grew on me.
Yeah, she grew up. She became like, she embraced being a nerd. Like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So after that, we pan to Murray. Murray's dropped off some more supplies for the group. Hopefully to go and get this trap done and made. And in doing so, we find out that one of the original trips that Murray made in the show was when he brought Jonathan this music. Inside of that music, which is like something that Jonathan would never listen to, there's a ring in there. So Jonathan is actually planning on proposing to Nancy.
Yep.
Honestly, bro, I feel like Jonathan's gonna die.
That may be. I'm gonna save my thoughts on that scene right there for the highs and lows segment, because it's in there.
Because, man, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so Jonathan's gonna propose to Nancy. We find that out. Has not happened yet, especially because after her whole family just got attacked and they're in the hospital. Timing. But we find out that also in the base in the Upside Down through this interrogation, because we go back to that scene, they're hiding someone very powerful in that base. And they start to believe that it's Vecna. They think that the military has captured Vecna and he is behind this door, and they've got him basically just restrained in that base.
Also,
so that's
chat. Yeah. I want to say, I called it on who was behind it. I'm just saying, I called it on who was back there. I don't think Ev was ready for it, to be honest.
Nah, I wasn't massively happy either.
Yeah, I can get that. Well, because we've talked about it. Like,
season 2 is my least favorite season.
Yep.
But afterwards, we go back to Holly, and this is where Holly, she decides, okay, I'm going to be heroic. I'm going to go into the woods. So she goes, and we see her just traveling through these woods, and she's on her quest to go find Henry, to go help him in whatever way that he needs help. Then we go back to Erica, and this is where she comes and she makes up with her friend. Fake makes up with her friend. She brings a pie, which is loaded with sleeping drugs, and she basically drugs the Turnbow family, except for her one friend. Her one friend will not eat the pie, and so all 3 of them get knocked out. And then basically Erica grabs a syringe and sticks it in her friend, and
that was kind of scary.
Oh,
that scene was dude. I was a little scared.
If there's anything I've learned from this show, is you do not mess with a 19-year-old 6th grader.
Yeah, chat. He's got a point. He's got a point.
My goodness, to wreck you.
Yeah.
So they get all the Turnbows out of the house, and they begin to set the trap. So they're setting up the trap. They're getting everything ready for this Demogorgon to show up to take Derek. And the Turnbows are taken to that farm where we're going to see. So Demogorgon ends up showing up, and the trap is sprung. So basically, he gets tripped up into this barbed wire landing. He gets lit on fire. He gets shot with this tracking, I forget what they call it, but this is this tracking device from Nancy. And then he escapes through the upside down. So they begin to track him. But what's crazy is as they're tracking him in the van, they're getting like this the frequency from him. It ends up turning around, and we're like, why did it turn around? Well, we come to find out that at the farm, Derek woke up and Derek took off his blindfold. So that means Vecna now sees where Derek is. So the Demogorgon turns around to go and get Derek,
Yeah.
which it takes us to. It takes us to that. That's the last we see of that. We know the Demogorgon's going there, and then we end this episode by seeing Holly one more time, and she's in these woods. She gets spooked because she thinks a Demogorgon and the monster's going to show up to get her. She goes and hides behind this thing. She has like one of those fire picks that you use to like turn the fire over. She's getting ready to fight, like protect herself from whatever it is, and we see the boots of this character walking towards her. And at first, you have no idea who this could be. My first initial thought was like, "Man, this might be Eddie Munson." It was not.
That was the first thought. I don't know why I didn't think it was who it was, but I'm happy with it.
Turns out to be the woman herself, Sadie Sink. Max shows up, and she is also in the mind of Vecna.
Yeah, super cool, super cool. She looked different too, and I think it was a good explanation of like where she was, instead of just I enjoyed it. I thought the reveal was great, kept me ready for more, ready for the next episode. I loved it.
So, out of the first 3 episodes, which one would you say is your favorite? Would you say 1, 2, or 3 is your favorite?
I would probably say the Turnbow Trap 3. Yeah,
I would agree.
obviously my favorite so far is 4. I'll go ahead and answer that question before we get there because it's pretty obvious.
So we got the same exact ranking on this. We got 4, 3, 1, 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's typical. You and I have we had the same notes. We had the same ranking.
4, 3, 1, 2 is exactly how we've ranked our seasons.
What the freak? What is that?
That's crazy.
4, 3, 1, 2 is not how we rank. Wait, hold on. Oh my gosh. That is the complete opposite. Flip it over and say it to me.
2, 1, 3, 4?
That's how we rank Toy Story.
Dude, that's insane.
What the freak? That's wild. That's that is wild.
Fun fact, chat. My goodness. I feel like we just had like a major mind melt moment on this.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last chapter of our review before we get into some theories, and some highs and lows of the show. But episode 4, this was the longest of the episodes. This one was about an hour and 26 minutes. This was a lengthy episode. But this one is entitled Sorcerer. Man. This episode
I just want to say,
starts off
chat, if you guys did watch any of our previous ones, I called this.
He did call this. This episode starts off insane. The whole thing is insane, and the end is ridiculously insane.
Yep.
So we start off back at the farm. The Demogorgon has shown up to take Derek. And basically, he goes in. Joyce begins to try to protect everyone there. She grabs an axe and she's swinging it at this Demogorgon. Will is seeing all this through the perspective of the Demogorgon, so it's kind of alluded to that maybe Will was protecting Joyce, like he was backing up from her.
Yeah.
We don't know that for a fact, but we pretty sure. Um, but the Demogorgon backs all the way out of this farm, and he gets hit by the car that's being driven by Steve. So basically, Steve, Dustin, Nancy, and Jonathan are all in this car, and the Demogorgon realizes, okay, he's like, I need to get out of here because it's injured. It turns around and it goes back to the Upside Down. And in this moment, Steve Harrington has one of his very idiotic, smart moments. And he starts thinking about the Upside Down being equivalent to the peanut butter candy he was eating early in the show called a bopper. Um, and he's like, that's probably like hard on the outside but gooey on the inside. So he's like, let's follow the Demogorgon. He says, I'm gonna drive this thing as fast as I can, and we're gonna go bust through into the Upside Down. So they follow the Demogorgon into the Upside Down with a car, which is ridiculously cool.
Oh, super cool. The only thing they were
Love.
missing was the mystery machine.
Yes, I agree. I agree. But oh, dude, I love that scene. I thought it was really, really fun. So then we go to and we see that the military is coming around Hawkins. They are rounding up all of the kids that are in the age group of Holly and Derek because they want to keep them safe from the monsters, which we end up finding out that they really think that they're trying to use these kids as bait to lure 11 because they think 11 is the one doing all this stuff. So, but they come and take all of the kids of that age group and they take them to their military base that is still in Hawkins, not in the Upside Down base. Afterwards, Will has a vision, and so he's seeing in Vecna's mind, and we have come to find out that outside of Holly, there's been 3 other children that have been taken so far. So he has taken 4 children, and he is planning to take 8 more. Derek being one of them, and then 7 more from Derek's class. So military's thinking that 11's after the kids, and that's why they're bringing all of them there, like we mentioned. And then we go to Max and Holly. We find out that Max is the one who wrote this note to get Holly to come out of the house through the woods, and so they can talk. And we find out that Max is living in this cave that's in the rocks. We find out like a little bit. We find out more and more as the episode goes along, but we find out a little bit of why she's there. And after it kind of gets the introduction of them talking to each other, we go back and we see Mike, Will made it. We see Mike, Will, we see Lucas, Robin, Joyce, and Derek, and they are all trying to make a plan to break into the Hawkins base to get all of those kids out because they're like, listen, Vecna is probably going to go get those kids. We need to go save them and get them out of Hawkins as soon as possible. So they start getting a plan up there. And then we go down to the Upside Down and we see Hopper and Elle, and they are planning to break into the Upside Down base because they believe Vecna is in there and they're going to kill Vecna. That's their whole plan. So we have a plan about breaking into the right side up base, the Upside Down base as well, and then we have the stuff going on in the memory. So that's kind of where we're at so far with the 3 panels. You got anything so far?
Oh, you're hitting everything I got, bro.
Okay.
I'm kind of hyped for the highs and lows, to be honest.
I am as well.
Yeah.
So we come to find out because we go back to Max, and Max starts talking about how she did die. Like when all that stuff happened in season 4, she died. But then she all of a sudden woke up. And when she woke up, she was trapped in the memories of Vecna. So she's living basically these memories over and over again, and she's trying to figure out how to get out. It's like a massive maze. So, pretty cool concept. I like what they're doing with her character a lot.
I wonder, I think we'll get an answer to this, but I wonder how Vecna / Henry / one feels knowing that she's still alive. Like she pretty much beat him. She won. There's nothing he can do to her at this point.
Nope. As long as he doesn't catch her outside the cave.
Yeah.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Yeah. That's probably word for word what he's saying, chat.
So, we get to find out a little bit more about the right side up's plan about going into the military base, and their plan is for Derek to infiltrate the base and join his schoolmates. Derek becomes basically the person that the entire fate of the world is. His shoulders are on. It's on his shoulders because he has to go in there and get everybody out as they're making a way to go and break through the ground right under there and smuggle all the kids out of the base. And then we get to see Hop and 11 breaking into the Upside Down base, which is pretty cool. We get to see Elle, her training start to pay off. She's timing stuff with the Thunder. She's jumping. They take out a few guards, and they go in there and they make it past the first layer of security into the base. So both plans seem to be going very well at the moment. So Derek, he goes in and he starts to find all of the others who are marked by Henry to be taken. He gets all of the ones who know Mr. Whatsit, and he starts getting the plan together, rounding them all up, making sure that we can get them out, and he lets them know what's going to happen. So afterwards, we begin to find out because we go back to Nancy, Jonathan, Dustin, and Steve, and they're trying to figure out what's going on because they ran into the wall. They crashed into it. But Dustin comes to find out that this wall is a massive circle. And that is what is giving off the interference with some of their frequencies when they are in the right side up. And the reason being is because at the very center of this circle, behind this wall, is the Department of Energy, which is Hawkins' lab, which is where all of this started and originated from. So that's where that base is as well for Hop and 11 is going. So afterwards, we go back to Max, and we see that Max was this close to escaping out of the memories of Vecna. But then all of a sudden, music turned off, and she's trapped, and he actually shows up.
I thought it was interesting to see the moment where she almost got to escape was a scene that we saw. I thought that was interesting. Yeah,
Yes.
which made it feel like it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. It made it feel like it was very, close in time. So it made me feel like she wasn't. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. Maybe like she wasn't in that cave for very long. That's what it seemed like to me. Because the Lucas scene wasn't that far before that, right?
Right. The only thing about it, we don't know how time works.
Well, true. There, yeah.
Because maybe that might explain why she's aged up so much too. Because
Yeah.
obviously her actual body's aged up because it's a year and a half later, but you can definitely tell she's older than what she was in season 4.
True.
But Vecna does chase her. He chases after her, and he chases her to those rocks that we find out that she's living in, and he's terrified of those rocks. He won't go in there, and this is where I think that play also comes back into play. No meant for a pun, but basically they alluded to the fact that that cave, he's got a terrible memory from being in there, and a lot of people think that that is where he actually encountered the Mind Flayer for the first time, and where
Yeah.
he possibly was corrupted.
Mm. Okay.
And he's got horrible memories from it.
Because he looks terrified, like genuinely scared to death.
Oh, by the way, fun fact: the actor who plays Vecna, Jamie Campbell Bower. Do you know he used to be engaged to Bonnie Wright?
What?
They both worked on Harry Potter together.
He did?
He was Gellert Grindelwald, the guy who ends up growing up to be Johnny Depp.
Oh my goodness.
We see him in the Deathly Hallows when he's stealing the locket.
That's crazy. I
All the
did
bad
not know
shots.
that.
Yep,
Yeah.
grandson. Or yeah.
He was married to my girl. Or engaged.
Yep, almost married.
That's crazy.
Found that out today.
Yeah, that's wild.
So after Max tells Holly all this stuff about what's happening and like what happened with her, she tells Holly, she said basically, you got to go back into that house. which Holly's an 11-year-old girl. There's no way she's going to want to do this, but she's a very brave little girl because she's okay. What do I need to do? I think the actress who's playing her is very good as well.
Agreed.
I think she's doing very good.
Yeah, I completely agree. Plus, didn't she kind of feel like she had to live up to the name of her D&D character in that scene?
Probably she's like, man, I got to be heroic.
Yep.
So I like that a lot. We see that Lieutenant Akers actually goes and he returns to Agent K in the Upside Down base, which he's probably about to tell her like Hop and 11's on the way. And then we get to see the group beginning to break into the military base in the right side up. We see them starting to smuggle all the kids out, and the plan is commenced.
Those scenes
Then
were crazy.
oh, bro, that's insane.
Yeah.
And their plan is named after Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Dude.
And this is yeah. So yeah, we go back to the Upside Down base, and after they've gotten past the first layer of security, they have those sirens in there too, that frequency. So 11 is again immobilized, and Hop begins killing soldiers. So pretty cool. Hop's a machine.
Yeah.
Every time I watch him now, I just think about the Red Guardian. So he's like killing it.
Yeah.
But 11 is basically down for the count right now. We keep panning back and forth between these two bases, though. One's they're trying to break in and kill him. The other one they're trying to break in and get everybody out. So then we see Derek telling all the kids go to the bathroom. They're escaping through the tunnel, and then we go back to Hop, and we see Hop is getting strangled by this tentacle plant that's in there because he's basically killing. He's trying to kill Agent Akers or Lieutenant Akers. He's getting strangled by this thing while he's also being interrogated by Dr. K. That thing is scary too. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. Obviously, I feel like it was connected to the Demogorgon and stuff, but
it looks like it's like that and like part of the vines that live there. It's strange, bro.
The vines, yeah, I didn't think about that.
But it's like, ugh. We find out that it thrives in the cold and it can't stand the heat, which makes sense because fire is like the enemy of everything in the Upside Down. Then we go back to the right side up base, and the pipe bursts, and Mike and Will are trying to fix it as they're trying to rescue all these kids. And in the middle of all that, they end up getting caught by all the soldiers.
Yeah.
They find out that they're taking these kids, like, where are you going, and like stuff. So they get caught, and the soldiers end up getting them, taking them back up, and yeah. So that happens. And then we get to see Hop. They defeat Agent K, Dr. K, and Hop then begins to bust out the window, and he's telling 11 to escape, go find Jonathan, Steve, Dustin, and Nancy. And Hop is getting ready to go take on Vecna for what we think. But 11 finds that explosive vest on him, and he's like, listen, this is just a failsafe. He's like, I got to be able to take him out with me if things go bad. So we begin to believe that this is the last time we're going to see Hopper and 11 get to interact. And he tells her he's proud of her. He tells her he loves her. And it's such an emotional moment.
Yeah, that Evan looked over at me during that scene. He goes, Hop's gonna die. Evan was devastated, chat. And like,
I was so sad.
It didn't even happen yet, and he was upset.
Like, we talked about it because like we talked about our favorite characters last week. Hop is my number one.
Yeah,
I love Hop. Oh, it would have been horrible if they killed him. I'm happy that he did not die, which we're about to talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But basically, the Demogorgons show up to the right side up base. They show up to take all the children. And this is where we see some of the most gruesome deaths in all of Stranger Things occur. There's literally a death where a Demogorgon throws one of the soldiers and he lobs it up to his other Demogorgon friend and he slashes him out of the air. It looked like LeBron and D Wade.
That's crazy, bro.
Lobbed it up to him, bro, and just slashed him. It was nuts.
Still not the most gruesome death.
No, that happens a little bit later.
It does.
Murray and Robin are also part of this as well. They have a truck to get some of these kids out, to smuggle them out. and they get chased by a pack of Demogorgons. Lucas is in the tunnel getting attacked by Demogorgons. The other ones are up top with like Mike and Will and Joyce and Derek. It's crazy. So a lot of chaos is happening. A lot of soldiers are dying. A lot more will die later. So basically, at this point, all hope looks kind of lost. It just looks like okay, they're not going to win this. So this is when we go back to the upside down before something really cool happens in the right side up. So we go back to the upside down, and Hop opens the door. He's still alive. He brings 11 in, and they go back to that room where they think that Vecna is being held. And it's not Vecna. It is number 8.
I liked it.
It's cool.
I liked it. I think it's going to have a good, big impact, yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. I think it could be pretty cool, especially when we talk a little bit after this. I think the dream team is being assembled.
Yeah,
but
I don't think either one of those two are expecting to come out of the upside down to somebody that is stronger than both of them, because I think he is.
I agree. So,
sorry, chat. Spoiler. No.
So, if Vecna was not in that room, where is he? And this is where the man shows up to the right side up. And my initial thought, very first thing when I see him in his new look, he looks like he's got an upgrade. My very first thought was I thought he looked like Ultron.
Yep. Groot too.
Groot, Ultron, and somebody else is talking how like his shoulders make him look like Megatron.
Yeah.
This man got an upgrade. He doesn't look like man. I thought he was scary in the last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks
completely
like he's rip everybody in half.
There were a lot of people crapping on it. I thought his look is good. I think it's better.
I think it's better. This is where we actually get to see Vecna for the first time in this season. That was not a flashback and not a memory. We actually got to see him in the present
and not
moment.
Henry. Yeah.
So this was cool. And we'll talk about that again in the highs and lows. But he shows up, he goes ham, he kills so many soldiers. The most gruesome death in all of Stranger Things happened because he literally turns into Groot and puts his hand through the eyeballs of some dude in his mouth.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Crazy kill. It was wild.
Pulls the pin out of the grenades. He stops fire in midair.
Yeah, he was dude. Homie was Darth Vader in the Tantive 4, bro. Crazy.
Turned into Kylo Ren, stopping that blast in Force Awakens.
Yeah. It was insane, bro.
And then we have another moment where we think a prominent character is about to die because Mama Byers steps up to defend Will, and it looks like Joyce is about to get just obliterated. We saw what Vecna just did. He just tossed her out of the way, and she gets knocked out.
Yeah.
All that happens. I thought she was about to get killed, bro.
Could you imagine he just snaps her neck? That would have been insane.
Oh man, it'd been so sad. So after this, Vecna, he basically picks Will up using the Force, and he talks to Will, and he basically explains his plan and why he's taking the kids to Will. So he's telling him all this stuff. He talked about why he took Will. It was a crazy moment. Then he turns his back and walks right back into the Upside Down, leaving everybody alive. So basically, after that happens, because Vecna resurrected the Demogorgons. He resurrected all of them. They all got burned, but they're alive now. And it looks like Mike, it looks like Lucas, Robin, and Murray are all going to be killed by the Demogorgons. But then a moment happens. We see a flashback from Will's childhood, and then we come back to the present.
Well, hold on. Did you hear about have you heard about the connection from that those flashbacks? The scene in season 2 when they're explaining to Will, like trying to get him to remember stuff, it's beat for beat what they were talking to him about in season 2. The actual
Oh.
flashback is literally that.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
it is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you there's a video on YouTube, if you watch, it's like it's showing them side by side. It's pretty sick.
That is sick. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, ladies and gentlemen, after the flashback scene, we find out why this episode is called The Sorcerer. Because Will basically turns into Vecna, 11 and 8, all put together. And he obliterates 3 Demogorgons at one time in 3 different locations. And he looks like the Undertaker doing it.
Monster, dude. Monster. I remember sitting there like he had them all locked up, like they were just up there. I was like, he's gonna do what Vecna did, and then they all started snapping. Dog, it was crazy.
Turned him into Chrissy.
Yeah, literally.
So, that was where we left off.
Yep. Insane, bro. Insane. Yeah, chat. It was absolutely beautiful. I think I'm gonna save my I think at the very end we'll do a ranking, but I'm also gonna save my um my scores. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into highs and lows. I'll go
Okay.
first. With my lows, I have 3. Um Holly's age, Erica's age. Took it right out of it. Holly in canon is 7. Does she look 7 to you? I'm just saying.
Shouldn't she be 11 though? Because she's in 6th grade.
Holly?
Is she not in 6th grade?
I don't think so. She's not same
I
age as
thought she was.
Erica.
I thought she was 11.
I don't think I think she's 11 or 12 in real life.
Hold up.
I thought she was in
I didn't
elementary
think she
school.
was
Am I
that young.
crazy? I
How old is Holly Wheeler in season 5? She is between 9 and 10.
That's still a little low, but it's better than 7. So I'll give it that, I
The,
guess.
the show's timeline would suggest that she's 7, but basically with the time jump and stuff, she's 9 to 10 now.
Interesting. Okay. Um, and then also Erica's age. I mean, we talked about that one. Kind of took me out of it a little bit. I think the kid, the main 4 did too a little bit at first. Like these are full-grown men in high school, but I mean, that one kind of goes away. Erica's was just crazy. That was just off the wall. My third one is Jonathan getting a ring for Nancy. The timing is so bad. The timing of that is so awful. Both of her parents are like you're considering giving it to her. Both of her parents are about to die. Her sister's gone. Like what part of this is a good idea? Now I know he got the ring before all that happened, but I don't know, man. I don't think that was the move.
I think he's going to die too. He's never going to give her
Yeah.
that ring. She's going to open that cassette tape and see that ring.
You think? Wow. Yeah, there's got to be something there, or they wouldn't have put it in there. I agree. Oh, you got your lows? That's
My
all I
lows
got.
for this show. My lows for this show. For one, I hate how much Steve and Dustin are no longer bros.
Yeah, I get that.
I think it's going to set up for a really emotional death from
It
one of
is.
them.
Ah,
It's making me really sad though because it's like it's obvious.
yeah.
It's like they all they've done is argue for the last 2 seasons, and when they get to the end, it's going to be so sad.
Do you think they're gonna keep Steve alive?
I think Steve's more likely to live than Dustin is.
What? All right, I'm not there, chat. I'm not there.
So that's one of them. My second one, I dislike the amount that we've seen Vecna.
You want a more?
Vecna in the present, I'll say that, because we've seen a lot of stuff of Henry. We've seen flashbacks. We've barely got to see any of Vecna. When we saw him, it was great. It's kind of like Vader. You use him sparingly. I get it. But I want to see more Vecna.
can agree with that.
So that's my second. And my third one, this is going to be a very unpopular opinion by most of the world, but I'm not kidding. This literally brings the show down for me entirely as enjoyment. I can't stand the language in this show.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I cannot stand
yeah.
it. It bothers me, especially just
That's
being
a
a
given.
Christian. Like,
Yeah,
dude, I cannot stand it. And it's it's not. I don't think any of it's good, but it's not even like they're barely using it. It's
no,
like every other thing, and I'm
yeah.
bugged.
Every time they say something bad, they say GD. Yeah,
Yeah, or they talk about Jesus's name.
yeah.
It bugs me.
Agreed.
And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if it's somebody in the comments. Oh, you need to grow. No, I'm not growing up. I don't
Mm,
like it. Uh,
I agree.
I don't think that. I think it's more immature to say that. So
100%. 100% agree. Could not agree more, brother.
so that's my lows.
Yeah. Highs chat. Will having powers is a high for me. I was super excited for that. I had that theory. I talked about it on the podcast. Obviously, we got it, and I'm super happy with that. I love that Dustin is carrying on the legacy of Eddie, even though he knows how it looks because people don't know what truly happened. Um, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. I also love the correlation that they had where when they were in the lunchroom, they were at the exact same table, and Dustin even sat at the head of the table where Eddie was. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Elle and Hopper being together in the Upside Down, showing their father-daughter whole thing. I think that was the best decision they could have made. Um, super, super cool. And I also love how he went from angry at her for being down there, angry at her for being in the car, to, okay, I know I need your help, so let's do it. You know what I mean? I love that dynamic. It was incredible.
I agree.
Evan might not 100% agree here. Bringing back 8, I thought was a brilliant move. I think it works. I think it works for Elle's character. And I really think it works for the betterment of the story because obviously we both have talked about not really loving that storyline, but we get a redemption here. We get to see her back and see her do something cool. I think she's gonna die. There's no way she makes out alive. Just my opinion.
Yeah,
I have 2 more. The way they incorporated Max, brilliant. Super cool. I would have hated to go through the entire season and her just be in the bed the whole time. That would have sucked. That would have been trash. My last one, you know, it kind of sucks somewhat, but Jonathan and Steve's relationship's actually kind of cool. I like the way they're button heads because it's not like in a I hate you way. It's just they both know that the other one is having problems with Nancy, and that's their whole dynamic. I think it's pretty cool. Plus, we got to see them like actually have to put their feud aside and focus on the task at hand for the crawl. So that was cool.
what's crazy too is Nancy is starting to look like she's just agreeing with Steve more. She likes Steve's ideas. Like it's kind of leaning that way.
Yeah,
I will say I don't think I have any other highs outside of what you just named. I liked every one that you named.
yeah. I mean, those highs are very high highs for me. And
I'll
again, the
give one
lows were
more.
very low lows. I agree.
I think the other high that I would say I enjoy the length of the episodes. I like how they're longer episodes.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like
completely agree.
having like an hour and a half mid-season finale was great.
Oh, 100% agree. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see that they originally pitched to Netflix to do 1 episode a week, and Netflix said no?
Wow.
Yeah. I think I like it better this way
I agree. I like
because
binging
we
it
got
like
to
this.
binge 4, and then now we're gonna get 3, and then the finale. So I think I like it better.
I also saw that when they originally pitched this show to Netflix, this show got denied 20 times.
Jeez, how many times did Harry Potter get denied? A lot, a lot.
This show got denied though because there's like you either need to focus and make this a kids show, or you need to focus on Hopper and just make it about him investigating these paranormal things happening around Hawkins. You can't have both. And they're like, we're not changing
How
this.
wrong
This
was
is our
that?
show. They're like, we're not changing the show. This is what it's going to be, and if you don't like it, well, and this became their best original show of all time.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Now chat, Evan has some theories for us. Floor is all
I've seen
yours, my
several
friend.
theories. I've seen several of them. So I got like 4 of them that are listed here. This one actually made me sad today reading it.
Ooh.
So Will Byers actually died in 1983, and the theory says that Mike created the entire story as a way to bring him back. Every monster, every rescue, every moment with Will alive is just Mike writing a world where his best friend never died.
Wait. And that's why he becomes the hero? That would be wild, dude. I think I
So
like
that
that
one's
theory though. I think I like it. It would put a big twist on the show.
yeah. So that's one of them. There's this one. So did you notice back in one of Vecna's memories? Did you notice that so he was back in high school. So
Boys.
you see Joyce handing out that flyer for the play Oklahoma, and then you see like Steve's dad. Well, have you read the flyer?
Uh-uh.
So if you read the flyer, at the top it says Hawkins Tiger Troop presents Oklahoma. So this is a play. Now, obviously, characters were married, so they don't have their names. Like Joyce is not Joyce Byers; she has like her other name.
Right.
But this play was directed by Joyce, and this show starred James Hopper Jr. So Jim was in this play.
Uh-huh.
Karen Wheeler was in this play before she was Karen Wheeler. Ted Wheeler was in this play. Um, Eddie Munson's, I'm assuming dad or uncle, Alan Munson. Patty Newby, I don't know who that is, and introducing as one of the main characters, Henry Creel.
Yeah.
So Henry was in this play. I want you to realize something. Karen and Ted have already been both attacked. Alan Munson's son died, at least is presumed dead.
Or
Um,
nephew.
yeah, nephew. Um, then we have Joyce and Hopper still on there. But what's something that else is crazy? This play was performed on November 6th.
Bruh. That's crazy.
So this play has something to do with one of the plans.
I wonder if Max going through his memories is going to be a way that she helps defeat him. That's crazy.
Like, I think we're going to see Eddie too. There's no way you mention the name Munson briefly in this show and we don't get to see Eddie again.
Dude, I really thought it was going to be Eddie, but I do like that it was Max.
So, I think this play has something to do with something. I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
being talked about a lot.
I like that.
So, another theory. What if the Upside Down is not another world, but it's Earth's future that is frozen at the very moment that humanity dies?
Ooh.
And here's why this makes sense. The Upside Down is locked in the same date and has the same structures and the same layout. It never changes. It's always the same. Um, you could build new stuff in it, but the date and everything else that's already there, it's not going to change. It shows decay without time passing by. So it's like a world that is stuck during a collapse. It's like the world was already broken and it's not getting worse. It's just already happened.
Right.
Vecna doesn't quote unquote rule it. He just survives inside of it. That's how he survives. Like something that came after the fall.
Huh.
11's powers don't open portals, but they break into a version of Earth that already existed. So season 5 also drops a subtle clue that the Upside Down isn't a parallel to their world. It's
Interesting.
our world after something catastrophic, and whatever caused that collapse is still connected to Hawkins. And if it is true, then the monsters are not invaders. They're survivors from the version of Earth that was lost. They are people that
Bruh.
were corrupted by the Upside Down. And the scariest part is every portal isn't opening another dimension. It's bringing our world closer to becoming the Upside Down.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I like that.
It
I
makes a
like that.
lot of sense.
It does. It does. It really does. I take it you saved
And
the best for last?
this one's different. It's kind of cool though, and it has to do with Eddie.
Ooh. Hmm.
So, in Eddie's game from season 4 of like D&D, Vecna had 15 hit points left. So, they needed to get more than 15 to defeat him. Erica rolled a 20, winning against Vecna. So she might play a part in this as well. But think about this. Dustin rolled an 11. And that's why it was not enough. And that's why Erica had to roll the d20 because 11 is not enough to beat Vecna. So Erica rolled a 20. What's that got to do with this? Well, as Erica rolled the d20 dice, we saw Lucas taking the game-winning shot for Hawkins. What number does Lucas wear for the basketball team?
I don't
He
remember.
wears number 8. And 8 is real cool here because maybe so we saw 8, so 11's not enough to be Vecna. So we brought in 8. 8's confirmed now. Ella's sister. So 11 plus 8 is still not enough to be Vecna. It's 19, right? You add those together. So what are we missing? We're missing 1.
And one is half Will. Or
And
Will is
he
part
thinks.
Henry.
So think about this. We think that Vecna is in control of the Upside Down. He's being controlled by the Upside Down. So to stop Vecna, who is being controlled by the Mind Flayer, he must realize that he is not the king of the Upside Down. He needs to break that control, which they're going to help him do. And he must realize the actual enemy is the Mind Flayer. It's not
Right.
the people trying to stop him. So 11 and 8 and 1 is the D20 that it's going to take to defeat the Mind Flayer who is controlling Vecna.
Chat, he just cooked right there. Oh my goodness. That was, bro. I was doing some mind work trying to figure out where you were going with that. That was clean. Dang. I like that. What do you think about the theory of the show getting to the end and it being all of them playing D&D and it was just D&D the whole time?
It'd be cool, but it gives me the vibes of like if Harry Potter was not real and like that was just like trauma that he had.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Oh, I know. It would be cool, but it would also be like all that for that, bro. Yeah.
There's also another theory. I just
Uh,
remembered this one. There's a theory because think about this. We know that Joyce and Henry went to school together, right?
yeah.
There's a theory that Henry might be Will's dad, his biological dad.
I've heard
And
that.
and that's why Lonnie left Joyce and he doesn't like Will because Will's not actually his son.
So she cheated? Is that what I'm
Maybe. And maybe she broke his heart on the night of that play and was like, listen, I'm gonna go be with Lonnie.
Wait though,
And
but what about
she
Jonathan
broke
though?
his heart. Jonathan she had with him.
In high school?
I don't know when she had him.
Right.
So what could have happened? Maybe this would make it make sense. Maybe they were together in high school. She ends up breaking his heart and goes with Lonnie. And they have Jonathan and stuff. Something happens. Obviously, her and Lonnie don't stay together. They get a divorce. Maybe she actually went back to him at one point, and that's when Will happened.
Right. Interesting.
So
I think it would be
what if
crazy.
Vecna is his dad?
That's why he didn't kill her.
Dude, and they keep comparing him to Vader. I am your father.
That's it right there. That's it. He cracked the code, chat.
Vecna is Will's dad.
Mic drop. Crazy. Bro, I'm going to be honest. We cooked. That was one of the most fun videos, fun pods we've done in a minute. That was cool. The fact that we typically try to stay around an hour 15 chat and have so many different topics to talk about, and we just rambled for one topic for an hour and 45 minutes. That's a dub. That's a dub. I don't know about you.
Feeling 22.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out T Swizzle. I don't know about you, but what are you thinking for? So obviously for the last two, I think we do the same thing. The last two drops, we do the same style.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to incorporate Stranger Things in the next few, or how do we want to?
We can definitely have some topics. Like we can get some rankings going. We can get some. I don't know. I definitely want to incorporate it over the next few weeks.
That'd be cool. Ooh, I think we should do a Stranger Things Guess Who.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
That'd be
I
kinda
like
cool.
that.
Yeah, I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember though, the next two episodes that are going to be all Stranger Things based are going to be episodes 25 and episodes 26, I believe.
Yep. Yep.
Unless
Super
I'm
excited for
incorrect.
those. We're gonna be doing our best to get some clips out because we've been slacking. A lot of heavy Stranger Things clips coming because obviously the timing is right. So stay tuned for those. Follow both of us. All of our links are down below in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed another Nerd Bros banger. Hopefully next week I'm not sounding all goofy and can talk a little bit more, because I can hear myself sounding sick in my voice and it drives me bananas. Absolutely bananas. Hope you guys enjoyed it, chat. Banger. Evan is the GOAT. Stranger Things is back and it's fire. Peace, chat.